Welcome to Keeping It Real with Jenn Godfrey. Nicole Johnson, thank you for coming on the podcast today, Keeping It Real with Jenn Godfrey. I'm so excited to have you.
I'm happy to be here. I love you to pieces and I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know what? It would not be possible without you and the community. So I'm super grateful. Nicole, you have an amazing story. You're doing awesome things. I'm super excited for you. And I can't wait for you to just kind of delve in and tell me and the world kind of your story. And I know a little bit about it, but I'm really excited for you to come on and just open up and inspire other women, especially that are maybe moms, single moms, even if they're married or not, that are going through shit, like inspire others and talk about the real stuff, real life, and really what a badass you are and how you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, for real, right? I mean, yeah, we
Yeah.
all, it's the social media thing. I love it because it's great to be able to kind of share the experiences, but we don't really see the backstories. And that's why
Mhm.
I really want to do this, is because I really want to be able to show that you any walk of life, it doesn't matter who you are. If you have adversity, you face things, you're capable of creating your own story, and you are a complete proof and evidence of that. So I'm really excited to
I
have you on. So Nicole, tell me, okay, so you and we met in 20, I think it was like 20, was it 2017, 2018 when you were working with Patricia and Mercedes?
yeah, so
Okay.
I had just moved to San Diego and
Yes.
with my former military husband, he had orders out there and I had secured a job with a lice removal company because I had started doing it in Boca Raton, Florida, and saw how much money you can make and how quickly you can make it. And then I was just really, truly good at what I did. I'm good with my hands. And it felt so healing. It felt just, I can't even explain it. It just feels fulfilling to help people with something so embarrassing. So I secured a job with Patricia and Mercedes. They were owners of Lice Clinics of America. They had 4 locations, one in Tustin, one in Laguna Hills, one in Encinitas, one in San Diego. And at the time that I met you, I was pretty much starting to take over management and
Yes, you
marketing.
were.
And Patricia
Mhm.
basically vetted. Patricia's the CEO, and they're both from Spain. The owner lived in Spain, and Patricia basically vetted me out to take over for her. And she didn't tell me that until after she had literally.
Well, so we have been working with them and doing their marketing for since 2016. So I know you were a huge asset to them. So I was really excited. And when I met you, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I would have thought too. I mean, because we have a marketing company, right? So we
Yeah,
just promote businesses and work with businesses to help them grow online. And I thought lice, what the heck is lice? Like it just is such a different, like
yeah,
now that we work with lice clinics and we work with some of the largest ones in the country, I'm like, damn, like you do make money and it's a real issue. And you're right, it's embarrassing, but it shit
yeah,
happens. You go to summer camps, you go to school, like it's real, it
yeah.
definitely, yeah. So you were awesome. I know you're really good at what you do, and you and I connected immediately. You are originally from Washington, right? So immediately we were like, all right, we're cool.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. It's a beautiful state, and I loved it so much. And honestly, being in San Diego just kind of made me feel a little bit like I was back home, just being on the West Coast. And,
Mhm.
it was kind of therapeutic. I absolutely loved living in San Diego. I think my workload was incredibly chaotic and
Yeah.
unhinged. And, I truly was putting out fires nonstop. So much went into managing and maintaining those 4 locations with people in all of them and doing it all. But I was in such a state of peace living out there, being so close to the ocean. And I'm just really big into nature. And it was just so healing. I always made time to do it. And
Mhm.
I loved being in San Diego. Yeah, I really did. I miss it so bad.
Yeah, I mean, we do too. I was there for 13 years, I think. I left Washington in '08. But yeah, I love San Diego. I think that it's kind of our home away from home. We still
Yeah.
go there a lot. But it's changed. I really think COVID kind of changed everything, to be honest with you. It's just not the same as it was. Like when we were working there, I feel like we were all thriving and it was just such a different time.
Mhm.
And I
Okay.
don't know, we all outgrew it. I feel like it was good when we lived there, but now we go back. Do you feel like it's sleepy? Like we go back and even with kids and stuff, I'm like, where is everybody? Like,
Everything
where-
has changed entirely
yeah,
out there, and by the time
yeah,
after COVID, I was like, "I'm done. I'm ready to leave." It's
yeah,
changed everything. For some reason, my business out there was affected. I mean, I saw everyone around me close, and because Mercedes and Patricia had done such a phenomenal job building up the business, and it was one of the stables, one of the first and most successful in San
yeah.
Diego. They were still stand we still stood through all of COVID and everything, but sales and everything has been a little wonky since COVID, and, that's why, like, long-term wise, I'll probably just continue to move everything over to the East Coast because 'cause we're good out here. You know? We're good
Yeah,
out here.
well, and like to backtrack a little bit. So we've been working with you now, and you and I have become friends. I mean, immediately you're like, "Oh my gosh, you met my kids." You're like, "I'm a twin mom." So,
Yes.
okay, you're from Washington, you're a twin mom. You and I have both like on a personal level shared a lot of our stories and we're like, "Oh my gosh, like we just couldn't be more on the same page in so many ways." So,
Really.
and then being able to help you when you took over the business, that was huge. I mean, you go from working, you have kids, and then all of a sudden we're in a global pandemic and everybody's going crazy. We're all moving out of California. Everyone's trying to, even people staying in California are trying to figure
Yeah.
out what they're going to do if they're going to stay there. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was kind of a crazy time, I feel like.
It was kind of is an understatement, girl. It was effed up to the
Yeah.
max. It
Well,
was
and we're freaked out because 'cause we're like, "If you guys shut down, then we're not gonna be able to market." But at the end of the day, I feel like on a marketing standpoint, it ended up being, good for us
oh,
because
yeah.
what happened with the doctors and everybody, nobody was going into clinics, but everybody needed a website. Everybody needed to promote themselves. So it actually turned out to be good, but in the beginning, I think we were all like, "Oh, shit, like, like, how are we gonna live?"
Oh, 100%.
Also, in being in one of the most expensive states and the most expensive cities, like, in the country too at that
Oh,
time, so it was scary, I think, for a lot of us.
it really was. Well, we did it. We made it
Yeah.
we made it through somehow, we're making it work. We pivoted, we did whatever necessary to bring.
Okay, and so during that time, we'll get into it. So, I'm super excited about this because you have proven to like, just not to me, but, like, to yourself. I mean, when we started working together, remember you said, "I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do," and I'm like, "You can do this, right?" Remember? We
Yes.
have that confidence and we pushed through, right? We made it through COVID, we're gonna freaking do it. And you've pushed through, like, so much other shit too. I mean, like, being a mom, running businesses, like, I know what it's like, but I'm used to it. I don't know different. But you weren't running businesses. You had your kids. You're a military wife, right? Like, your husband's in the military
Yeah,
at the
he was
time.
gone, like, all the time.
Yeah.
The
So
time.
you're raising kids by yourself, then you go to working, and then all of a sudden you go to, "I'm running a company." Like,
Yeah.
how was that? Like,
So, I did not want to own the business at the time because I let Mercedes know, the owner. I
yeah.
told her, I said, "Listen, you've got 4 years with me, 4, and then I have to move." And when it was time for me to move, Mercedes is she is a force to be reckoned with. She is one of the strongest, the smartest, the most boss women I have ever seen, running multiple companies, owning multiple companies.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
this
a badass.
girl is a powerhouse. I
Mhm.
have never seen her crack in any way, shape, or form, but we were on FaceTime and I told her, and she started to cry. And that broke me seeing her like that when she realized
She
I had
really was trying. I could not imagine her.
pride
I love Mercedes and Patricia. Like,
of them.
like, when I first met Patricia, did I tell you how I met her?
Um, Yeah, it was wait, no, I forgot. Sorry.
So I left my corporate job and I thought Todd and I were like, Todd's like, come work with me. And I said, okay, fine. So I took like we got married. I took a summer off
Mhm.
and I started because we work with some lice clinics, right?
Yeah.
So I called Patricia because I knew that they were the biggest lice clinic. And it was just like a random, I'd never talked to her before. And she was like, she's from Spain. I'm just gonna say it. Like other countries can be like very culturally like just standoffish,
Yeah.
especially to like you like Americans, like
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
for her immediately, like she gave me a chance. She listened to me and goes, "Okay, I'll meet you for coffee." And I was like, "Really?
She's
Okay." I was
so good at
so
doing
excited
that.
because she's not, I mean, they're tough. Like you said, these
Bit
women are freaking business and they're tough. I mean, not anyone can just call them and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like hi, let's hang out." Like you have to like
the
really
straight shooters, they're not about that
yeah,
dazzle
exactly.
kind of way whatsoever. Like they literally went through the coals to get
Yeah.
for the job. And even then, I still, even after knowing as much as I knew, I still didn't know anything when it came to being a business owner. I was completely lost. And Mercedes basically told me, this is the next step for you, Nicole, is to become the owner. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. I paid people. I
Yeah.
saw how much money, how much stupid money these businesses brought in. And then I saw the difference when COVID hit. And I was like, why would I take on something that's going down the shitter? But in my mind, I was like, oh, but this is going to get over with soon. This is going to get over with soon. And my ex husband was like, well, if you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it. And I was like, there's no way you're about to be my boss. So
No,
I was like,
no. Thank God.
so
Yeah.
we bought it together. And now I'm the sole owner, of course, but, it was a lot. So I was living in South Carolina. We bought our home in South Carolina in Lake Wiley, and that's where I became the owner. That's where everything was done. I flew into San Diego a few times to meet with Mercedes to go
Yeah.
over work and go over everything in between, but I did not know a thing. Everyone has this vision about, just basically, oh, I'm going to be living on top. I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But being a business owner is not cute. It is pressure.
It's
There is
hard. It's
no
hard.
clocking out. If something goes wrong, it is on you.
Yep.
People see the success, but they don't see the nights you're trying to figure out how you're going to make payroll and everything else and everything in between, and I don't play about my business at all, and
No, as you shouldn't. And Nicole, you couldn't be a better person to run a business because you are very, I mean, you're kind of more free spirited like I am. I feel like
are.
you're very nice. I mean, I will say you are probably one of the kindest people I know. Like you are just very
Thank you.
easy to talk to. You're very kind and just a really nice soul. Like you're a good person. And I know that.
Yeah.
But I also know that you are meant to lead and not like follow, and there's some people that just should not own a business, they're and that's okay. Like, but I am excited that you did it because you're growing and we're taking over now. So I mean, you're doing a good job,
You
but it
understand.
is a lot of work. And when we see it on the social media aspect of it, right? Like if you post a picture, you're hot as hell, like you've got your mom, you're gorgeous, right? But when people go, oh well, they probably assume, like to me too,
Yeah,
she just married rich or she just had,
exactly.
and it's like,
Or that I'm dumb as a box of
no,
rocks.
yeah,
Because I have
no,
this
no,
Kelly accent and stuff like that, but, I love you and thank you for just pouring into me that way. I think the world of you, and I don't play about you. You've talked me off I don't let people see me crack under any circumstances, and if I do trust you with a moment where I'm really vulnerable, it means I deeply care and love you, and I appreciate you for that because you've always said exactly what I needed to hear. And, at the end of the day, I didn't build this business to play with it. I built it to last. It isn't optional to me. Failing is never an option. I will keep going and keep going and keep going. I will never stop. And, it might not be easy, but it's so funny. We'll get some customers sometimes and they'll be like, I could do this. I might become your competition. I'm like, go
no,
for it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
blood money, baby. It's
yeah.
blood money. Enjoy. Good luck.
Well,
Good luck.
and being an owner, like as you know too, like we travel a lot, and that's one of the reasons I left corporate America is because my husband and I wanted the freedom. And I didn't grow up military, but my mom was military. So I grew up moving a lot, without being a military background. So I'm just used to being on the go a lot. And I I feel like very grateful to be in a position where we can run our businesses remotely. But as you said, like we don't, if it's midnight and I'm in freaking like, I don't know, Europe somewhere, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. Guess what? If someone's website goes down, if someone's calling me, I'm awake. I'm working. Like I might be doing cool shit, but like I'm on my phone. There's no break. There's never a time
I'll
off.
never forget when I got hacked. That was like an ongoing disaster for
Yeah.
us. So
Yeah.
you guys literally were like around the clock. You guys are super attentive. I'm
Well, and that's what we take pride in with our clients,
You make
and
it
like,
happen.
but it's more family to us. Like, I don't like you with business. Like, I want lasting relationships. I'm not going to work with someone that's going to be like, oh, like our client. I'm very lucky to have the community and clients that we have. But
Yeah,
Nicole, I want to talk about like, so you grew up in Washington
I
and
did.
how you kind of got to the place of being able to own your businesses, because I know that we've helped you get there and we've scaled your businesses and you're growing, and I'm super excited for you, and I know you're going to kill it. We're already projecting to do very well. So we'll talk about that too in a minute, but I just want to know like so you grew up in Washington, what part of Washington?
I grew up in a few different parts of Washington.
Okay.
I was born in Tacoma. And
Okay.
then, I spent some time there. I spent some time in Puyallup, and
Mhm.
then I spent a lot of time between Silverdale and Port Orchard, Washington, which is the
Okay.
suburbs. So
Yeah.
beautiful,
Really pretty.
unbelievably gorgeous. And, I was kind of like raised everywhere by everyone. And, I had a pretty unhinged childhood. So I
Okay.
grew up fast.
So you have a relationship with your family still, right?
I have a relationship with some of my family, yes.
Okay.
I think I've had some beautiful angels placed into my life,
Mhm.
and I'm just so grateful for them because they added a lot of goodness through a lot of things that were earth shattering. And, I grew up fast and I learned that nobody is coming to save you. And that doesn't make you bitter, it
Mhm.
makes you capable.
Well, it gives you tools to use if you use them the right way. You can go one way or the other, right? So you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can, and I know that with you that you're a fighter, because I do feel like you have to have some sort of grit in
Yes.
order to run a business, right? Like people can say, "Oh, I have money. I'm going to, and families can support them." I mean, unless you're like some trust fund kid or something, but
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You gotta
yeah,
better.
you've got to have a reason to like want to be a badass and an owner of a business, because it's not, I mean, you can work your way up in corporate and that's easy after, 10, 15, 20 years, and you can get a pension and whatever.
Mhm.
But as we know, that's not really the dream anymore. I don't think
No,
that's my dream, right?
it's
Like my dream is to be able to run my businesses, help other people grow, see what we do so they can run businesses. And then at the end of the day, have freedom. Cause to me,
oh, yeah.
that's what I say. And freedom doesn't mean like, for me, freedom is like the ability to go. I can go to
Oh,
Hawaii. I can go to Mexico. I
yes,
can
let's
remove it, whatever, but I'm still working. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a
That's to
unique.
me. Yeah. So, but you have to have the passion to do that and the grit. And so for you, it sounds like you started that at an early age, right? Like you kind
Yeah,
of went through some adversity growing up.
definitely, and as a result to a lot of, like, the neglect and things that I dealt with growing up and having the people that were supposed to be there leave and then come back and then leave and then come back, it's like, it's does something to you, and so I was a bit of a late bloomer in my success, to be honest. I fell off the beaten path for a while. I was a bit of a wild child for a while, and, you know, let me just tell you, I lived in my 20s. I was never doing drugs and things like that, but I was living, okay? And part of living, I found myself in Las Vegas. My life was a movie. It truly was a movie. If I think back to some of the things I've done in, like, Hollywood and Vegas, I'm like, "Damn, I have lived a life. No wonder I'm so
Good.
chill right now. No wonder I don't need constant stimulation, but somehow I'm still calm and introverted, but I'm also, like, still spontaneous. I'm still a lot of fun, and I don't take life too
You
seriously."
and I are the type of people, we don't need anything. We don't need any sort of substance. You and I can go out and we could have fun in the freaking on a mountain in the middle of nowhere because
Everybody
I I'm so
Everybody's so worried about ambiance and everything being
yeah,
perfect, and I'm like,
no.
you are the time.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
energy is the time, and that's what's more important to me now, is just making sure that you can have an amazing energy with whoever you surround yourself with, and sometimes we spend a lifetime using our discernment and having to learn and live and all the things just to be sure that we're in an area or in an environment that helps us flourish. And it is a sensitive thing. There is
Yeah.
no room for anybody that is unhealthy at all.
Well, and I mean, so when you were growing up, can you just touch on, and we don't need to go into like all the details of it because I know that it's like, trauma. We don't need to talk about all that. But do we did you grow up with like was there substance abuse? Because you say that you didn't. Was there substance abuse like around you?
Um, a little bit, but
Okay.
it was mainly just with like the parents
Okay.
and like
Got
me
it.
being displaced and not growing up with a lot of security. I mean, I truly was raised by a village here, there, and everywhere.
Okay.
And, I don't have a relationship with my dad. I do have a relationship with my mom. And, she's, we have a good relationship now. But,
Okay.
there's just a lot of, there was just so many different things. I mean, I could
So
literally,
when you were and then so you said you moved to Vegas, right? So then when did you leave Washington?
I left Washington probably when I was about 19.
Okay.
I left Washington at 19, and, one of my mom's ex-boyfriends, his name's Dana, and he is, like, a super successful real estate agent. He actually took me in and raised me from the age of 13 to 18,
Okay.
and we lived on a lake in Port Orchard, Washington.
Wow.
We had jet skis, a boat, like, life was badass at that time for a while, but
Okay.
still it didn't, like, fill the void that I had had, and I had, like, been
Yeah.
ignoring it for years. I became a professional at ignoring the things that could have psychologically affected me throughout my life. So, like, I had gone through a pretty bad breakup,
Mhm.
and I was like, "I'm getting out of here." So me and
Yeah.
my best friend literally drove to Vegas, and we were living the life for a while. We really were. So and
Okay.
then, that all changed, and then I ended up moving to Florida, where I had my oldest, Rain,
Okay.
and, she was like the start of me chilling out.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when you moved to Florida and you had rain, were you with were you with the her father, or how was that?
We were really just on and off for a while.
Okay.
He was like my first love.
Oh, okay.
Rain was actually born in Las Vegas, but
Okay.
I moved quickly to Florida, and, that's where I just really knew I needed to
Get
chill.
out of that scene. Yeah.
I was like pushing a baby stroller through the casinos because literally that's all there is to do there. Everything is in the casinos. When
Yeah,
people
it
live
is.
in Vegas, people that live in Vegas, locals, we are in the casinos for everything, for stores, for, food, for so many things. That's where you go. And I was pushing the stroller through the casino and it just hit me. And I was like, I'm over this shit. It's time to leave.
Well, and you can still smoke in the casinos and stuff
That's what I
too,
was saying.
and you're like have a baby and you're going
But
through and it's one thing to go there and you want to be have your freedom and live your life and have fun. And I mean, I love Vegas for like I would say 24 to 48 hours. Hell yeah, I'll go. I don't drink or do anything, but I'll still go party and have fun, but I'm out. It's it's chaotic, and it's fun when you're young because you want the chaos, right? But now it's like you want to go and then get out, right?
it takes a strong person to live there, and not get on drugs, not lose yourself, and not completely go insane. And I take pride in knowing that I didn't go insane. I didn't do drugs and I kept it together for the most part. I just was having fun, you know?
That's and you should. You're in your 20s. You're in your teens, your
Life is a
20s. That's what
movie.
it's for. You know, those are the moments. Like, we all did crazy shit, right? Like,
We did
I
crazy
did.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, hell yeah, go live your life. You know, I think you're what is a saying that you live in your late teens and your 20s, or
Yep.
where you make your mistakes, your 30s or when you start like learning from your mistakes, and the 40s or when you start like really like
So I know exactly
working
what you're
and
talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think it's kind of crazy though, Nicole, when do you ever meet moms now that like their kids are like going to college and you could tell they were like, you know, got married when they were like 20
Yes.
or whatever, right?
Yes.
And they're still married. And then all of a sudden they're like 45 and they're like going out and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to go out." And I just look at them and I'm like, "Girl, you missed the freaking like
I'm
it's
like,
fun.
you missed
I want to see you have fun and live your life, but like this is
my
weird."
I had my kids in my 20s, and no, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. I had my kids in my 20s, and I'm gonna be, 49 one day, and my kids are gonna be grown, and guess who's gonna be at the top of their career by that time and ready to go on some vacations to Bali and all the things, and, my kids can see me grow gracefully with them, and no offense to anybody who had kids later on in life, I think there's pluses with both sides, so I'm in no way trying to, like, shame. But, I look at that and I
Well,
think
I was 37 when I had the twins. So
you
I on Todd and I Todd's gonna be 51 and we're both like and I'll be
guys look like
45.
kids still. Like, seriously, stop it.
You. But I'll take the compliment because I'm like, it hit me. Nicole, this year hit me. I was like,
How old are your twins?
they'll be 7 in May.
Oh my god. That's
And I'm not joking. I'll be 45 and I'm just like, I look at Todd and I'm like, dude, I can't move. Like, I literally cannot. I'm old. My back hurts. I have arthritis. Like, I am tired and I hope I look good because that makes me feel better. But like, I don't feel like
you look
shit.
like a full snack. I mean, I'm not gonna lie or sugarcoat anything. I want you to know you look damn good. I told
Oh,
you
I
that before we
appreciate
got
it.
on
Thank
air. I
you.
was like, "You are glowing." So whatever you can keep
Thank
on doing
you.
it. I love to see women looking their best and even men because this whole everyone's value goes down the toilet as you get older is
No,
nonsense. If you do it
no.
right, you can shit on the youngins. Excuse my French. But it's true. Like, if you care for yourself, if you take your health seriously and you do whatever it is that makes you feel great, you're going to look
Mhm.
better. You're going to, for the most part, feel better. But we just have to stretch more at this age. We got to make sure we
Yeah, I know.
lactic
It's
acid.
true. Well, and you know what? I was like you. I was a late bloomer too, Nicole. Like I was like a nerd. Like I look back and like I thought I was cool, but I was like, I guess I wasn't. Like I was kind of like a nerd. I had glasses. I didn't develop. I don't even have boobs now, but like I didn't get my period till I was like 15, almost 16.
Seriously.
I was not like I was a tomboy. I was not I feel like when I got sober is when I actually like even Todd's like he's like, "Babe, when I met you, you were pretty." He's like, "But now you've like" he even will say like, "You've definitely hit." I don't know, like I feel like I just hit a really late phase of time. So I appreciate you saying that because like I was not I look back at pictures and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I was such a nerd." Like I
Oh,
was not
I mean, I
not
think it's so cute though. Like sometimes just getting on board with things late. I mean, everybody has their own timing and their own journey. And like there could be a benefit to blooming early, a benefit to blooming late.
yeah,
I really do believe
definitely a late bloomer here.
in everything. And we all wish we did what we didn't and all the things.
Mhm.
But I think there's always something really divine in exactly the way things unfold.
Well, I love that. Thank you. And I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So we're going back. So you go to Florida and then you have rain there. And then when did you meet your ex? We'll call him. Do we name him or no?
Yeah, no, probably not.
No.
I mean, I want to, but I don't care, but I probably
Okay. Well, anyways,
will say
so we meet, we'll call him,
the general. We'll call him the general.
The general. Okay. So you meet the general, right? And then where were you in life when that happened?
Oh, so, well, honestly, I was in a place where I was pretty good. I loved living in Florida. I was in Florida about 11 years at the time.
Okay.
I was a contract estimator, for just all kind of like finishes in, industrial buildings and businesses.
Got
And,
it.
I just won't speak.
No, you're fine. Keep going.
Okay. So I was a contract estimator. And then I also worked at a recording studio. I was really heavy into music at the time.
Okay.
And I met my ex through a girlfriend of mine. And he lived in Chicago at the time, and he flew out to meet me. We spent some time together, and this is back in the day. This isn't in like this new era of weirdness. This was in,
Mhm.
I see you, I like you, we go together.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like within 6 months we were married. I
Wow. Okay.
I had moved to Chicago with the kids. We stayed out there for about 8 months, and, oh, and I was also doing lice removal too, in Florida. I was, doing a jack of all trades pretty much out there.
Yeah, for sure. Like you were hustle. You have a hustle for sure.
I
Yeah.
was I was hustling,
Yeah.
and him and I got married, and, we moved to San Diego about 8 months later for his military orders, and he was gone a lot, let me tell you, like,
I
I
remember.
I was
I
pretty much
remember. I
yeah.
remember. And that's when I met you, and you were your twins were little. I mean, at that time. I
They
didn't even have kids yet.
They were so small, and,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, I really don't have any regrets, but I do think that we moved too fast. I think that it truly takes a lot of time to get to know someone, and that's why I'm so patient now for the most part, because I do think you need to see people in different settings. You need to know that you can get through a disagreement. You need to see if someone's avoidant. You need to see if somebody has narcissistic traits. I know I hate to use that word, but I'm just going to say it. You need to be able to go through things. You need to see if they are supportive of your endeavors, if they're supportive in your growth, or if they want to keep you stunted. You need to see, are they mostly positive? How do you tick? You can't just learn that overnight. So I think I knew eventually that that wasn't my person.
I'm really sad for that whole transaction too, because I feel like you got blindsided, as did I, as like your friend. I've known you a long time.
You
I
loved
met
it.
him. We all liked him. The general, like he came off like I will say when you say narcissism and like I don't want to put, like I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I do feel like it's like imposter syndrome, right? Like he acted like such a different person, right?
Yeah.
And then here, when you told me, I was like, I shut up. I'm like, no, I'm not going to judge a situation because you never know. Are we going to work it out? Are
Right.
things going
Yeah.
to, so I'm always like the kind of person, like people want to come talk to me. I don't drink alcohol, so that's a good thing. Because I always say loose lips sink ships. So I'm like the
Yeah.
perfect person to adult and talk to because I won't say anything. And my husband, if I ever tell him stuff, he doesn't tell anybody anything. But
Right.
I,
Right.
yeah, but I was like really
He was
trying to
a good
be
guy.
supportive to
He
you,
was like
and I wanted him to be a better person. I was so shocked.
honestly, I was saying the word like narcissism in general, just like as a warning to people because
Mhm.
you never know. I don't know if that's what that was with him. I will say, like, he really showed up. Okay. This man showed up in a way that everyone was blindsided. Everyone was blindsided. He was literally like the, what is it called? The poster child or
Yeah.
poster person for like family man, husband, provider, all of the things. And granted, there were some things missing that were really important to me, but I dealt with it because I was mostly happy. And if I'm mostly happy, I'm okay because no one is perfect. No one,
No.
So, bottom line, we had some great years together. You know, when it came time for him, he was getting close to retiring. He had a long military career. We were going to buy our home out here in Lake Wiley, South Carolina. And he had this bright idea that the kids and I would move 18 months before him because it was the best time to buy a house, XYZ. And I had heard early on, before I even got married to him, from one of my good friends from high school. He said, whatever you do not live separate. Do not live separate from your husband when he's in the military. Just trust me on that. And so I tried to remember that. And I was like, that I didn't feel comfortable with it. But he was like, are you kidding me? One way or another, he got his way. And, I listened and we moved out here without him. And I'm thinking we're going to be fine. I was like, I wake up happy. I'm happy to live life.
Well,
I'm peaceful. But
to put things in perspective, you have he had just been retiring, right, from the military, so you're
yes,
waiting for him to finish, and
yes.
then on top of that, like, you buy a beautiful home, so you're excited in this new
I
home,
was
you're starting
lying.
you have this new business, you're like, "Okay, I got this perfect dream life, I bought my
Yeah.
businesses." He was supportive at the time. He was, really fueling your fire, so you were, like, at that time, you there were no red flags up, right, at
There
that time?
was, I just, now that I look back on it, I know so much more of who I am. I've evolved and I know like what I would never want to do again. Those were certain things, but I'll keep it to like the really important stuff right now, which is I had no idea. And I kept like it seemed like out of nowhere he just changed towards me, truly just changed towards me. And it seemed like he was just like hated me out of nowhere. And I'm thinking, and I was like, is something wrong? What is wrong with me? I'm checking in with myself. I'm like, I'm in the gym, I'm making this, I'm making sure the house is perfect for him when he comes back. I'm running a business, I'm not stressing him out, I don't hit him up for any problems, I respect space, and I'm also giving and touching base. I had to go down this long list, and he really made me think that I was like doing something wrong. You're not. I'm not claiming to be
So he's, like,
perfect.
gaslighting you basically
Yeah.
because he's military, and I feel like there's a training for that too without him maybe even knowing, like
Mhm.
and he was so high ranked, and I
Yeah.
do give him the respect, like, "Thank you for your service, general,"
Yes.
but that's about all I'll say, but, like, I think that it's hard on them, but there's so many freaking tools, like, I have so many other people in the military that I know that I respect, and, like, they are great family people because they use the freaking tools, like, if you don't use them, then, of course, you're gonna go rogue and things happen, but there's no excuse because he was so high ranked and he had so much support to deal with some of the shit that he made
Exactly.
to say, like, "Oh, but this happened." It's like, well, you
Yeah.
freaking have VA, like, you get everything paid for, like, you're high
Exactly.
ranked, like, if you know you have this shit going on, then freaking go take care of it, like, be a
Exactly.
man.
And one thing that I thought was a reason why he was treating me differently is because I started a life in Lake Wiley. What am I supposed to do? I'm out there for 18 months. I made some good friends. I was living my life and it felt like he hated it. He wanted me to be in the house 24/7, and I'm not that way. I don't want to be that way. I now being single, I would want somebody who respects that because I sure do. And I just thought something was wrong with me for the longest, and
Do
that's
you
why
think he was jealous of you? Like, do you think he might have been jealous because you are thriving and he's, like, dealing with
the military and
well, he's trying to figure out probably, like, he had this career, right?
yeah, oh, well, when he got out of the military, I knew that that was gonna be the tell-all, because he was starting to come home and do some visits, and he was just off. Like, I'm talking the house looked immaculate. That's one thing I don't play about. It looked like a show home. I had
You showed me pictures and your house literally looked like it was a stage like the stage house, like and you have kids too, and I do
yeah,
too, and I know you and I are very similar, like, we
yeah,
want you can't live in chaos, like, you
no,
want chaos to go to, but you don't wanna live in it, like, I'm the same
yeah,
way, like, I need my house clean, like, I can't handle, like, a messy I
yeah.
get it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and thank you. And when he would
Your house I know you, I know your style, I know how you are, so you don't have to explain that, but
yeah,
no, I agree like, and I saw it because you and I FaceTime, we talk
yeah.
often, and so I was like, "What?" Like, there's no way. Yeah.
The whole point of, like, the reason why I mention this, right, is I'm going over in my head, right? How can you come home and have a problem with everything when I've been busting my ass in the gym to look amazing for you when you come back? I made sure the house is amazing. Everything's good. And he would come back and was just miserable. And I'm like, we haven't seen each other for months. So I started to really despise him during that time because that was a slap in the face and I knew something was off. And things continued to just be off more and more. And it got to the point where I was like, all right, something's up. But and then he would like go on trips every weekend to go do an apprenticeship somewhere. And I was just happy to be alone at that time. At that time, I'd already moved
Of
into
an
a different.
apprenticeship? Yeah, that's odd. Out of the okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
tell
gonna
me.
say what it is, but he was saying that he had like he was doing a apprentice thing when he was out of town. But yet I would be like, send me a picture of where you're at. That would never come. So at that moment I knew he was dabbling in something, but I just didn't know how serious it was. And then also there was a time where he said he needed to leave town to go and help one of his former junior sailors move across the US, like literally. That was one thing I wished he had more friends, but he didn't. So when he was going to do that, I knew something was up because the whole time he was driving, I called him 2 times across the US and he would not answer. And he would call me back and rush me off the phone when I've dated men who will live on the phone with me, no matter what
Yeah,
they're doing, no matter where they're going. Not, I don't want to do that. Okay. But I'm just saying, like, that's insane. So that was
awkward.
once
Like
in a
you
while.
knew, red flag, yeah.
I knew red flag, but I wanna, like, just say that I was getting so careless about it, and I felt really stuck, and I was actually really miserable, like, really miserable because this energy just became so negative, and I am such a positive human. I wake up happy. I'm not I don't know how to handle such low vibrations. It's beyond me. He became somebody I did not know, and I was like, "This is terrifying." I'm in a marriage. We own a business together. The kids are locked in. He's been raising them. I'm like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" So my best friend, she's a Virgo,
Mhm.
she called me and she was like, "I know you wanna know." She's like, "Go get into his email." She's like, "Go crack into his iCloud." And I'm like, "I just don't care." And she's like, "I know, but don't you wanna feel vindicated so you know it's not you finally?" And that was like the one thing that clocked to me. I was like, "I need to wake up." So I cracked into that good old email and I discovered he had been having an affair for years.
Years?
That is the same person. That was the trip he took across country. He moved this person from San Diego to 1 hour away from where we bought our home. Yeah.
Okay, and then tell me, was this other person married?
That is something that I will probably never know. I don't think I'll ever know that, ever. All I know is that she knew he was married 100%. He cheated. And at that time, by the time we were where the things where things were, it saved me the trouble of figuring out how to leave. I didn't spiral. I don't hate him. I just don't recognize him anymore. And, it's like a stranger with history. And, I think that for some people, closure is real cute, but I prefer distance. Like instantly, I completely cut it off entirely.
I
And yeah,
I love you say that because and I love that you have the boundaries to be able to say that because I'm just the more people I've talked to, Nicole, and I think that there's power and I know that you're strong because when you go back and you go to counseling, right? And this is my thought on it. I'm not bashing counseling, therapy, whatever. But you need to do what you know works for you, right?
thank
So
you.
if you say, look, I'm not going to choose hate because hate is going to hurt me because we all know that that's just going to affect you, right? But if
Yeah.
you can say, you know what? I don't hate you. I'm done with your shit. You put me through hell, but we went through some time together and like you did. And I know that it was hard for you and it is, but you are 100% right by saying, "I just need
Yeah.
space." Like and I respect that because there's so many people that go, "Oh, well, we need to do counseling because we need to figure it out."
Oh,
What do you need to figure
exactly.
out?
I'm not gonna
Why?
do it.
Why are you gonna put yourself through that? And I hear that too when people go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I have all this trauma from my childhood." It's like,
Don't
if
live
you've
in
moved
that.
on and you have a great life now, why would you reopen Pandora's box to that
Exactly.
trauma? Like,
No,
I don't understand some of that. So I
me
respect your decisions on saying, "This is stuff that I've been through."
yeah, and it's true, and that's where I thank my childhood
Mhm.
for making this is where I think we embrace if you learn how to embrace your shadows, you will be
Yep.
unstoppable in this world. And I embraced my shadows. And at that moment, I was proud that I know how to detach very easily because, like I said, distance is the answer for me. When I'm done, I'm done. He lost me and I am not a replaceable experience.
Yeah.
Once I see something, I can't unsee it. I'll never look back fast at all. I do spend a lot of time observing. And then when I do react, it's final. And,
Yeah.
people think I'm hard for that. And it's not the truth. I'm just very clear. The problem was is he didn't just let me leave. Like he was never planning on leaving me for this girl. He literally fought tooth and nail thinking that I had to stay with him because of all the years we were together. And that's why I had to move out of the house that I partially owned just to get some peace. And that was probably one of the most stressful things I think I've ever been through. When it comes down to divorce, we go through that final, like, I'm excited to be the hell out of here and start my new life. And you're thinking about your new life and you're envisioning it and you're stuck in survival mode. But what happens is as you transition into your new life, you don't miss the person. Not at all, but it's just that your life is so different and it takes so long to learn how to do everything all over again, how to have faith that you can do it by yourself again when it once was as easy as riding a bike, and it takes a lot of time. And that's when it really hits you is when you're living and it's not failure. It's not, I made a mistake, but
Yeah.
it's just, I'm learning how to do this and this and this and this again. Oh, and then the best part is you've got kids and they are going to blame who for a long time? Who are they going to blame? They're going to blame the person that
The
left. They're
person
going to
that left.
blame
Yeah.
you for doing the right thing. But the best part is that doesn't last long. They come around and they respect you and honor you more than ever once it's all
Well,
done.
you are a good mom. I
Thank
know that. You're the best mom. And I know you as a person, and you are like, you and I are very similar.
thank you.
And the fact that I hate the saying, but it's so true. I am very much like, "Oh, hi, I'm friends with everyone." Like, "Come
Yeah.
on, come in." I wanna be nice and equal to everybody. But
Yes.
the second and I used to be, like, a lot more like, "Okay, this person, I'll give him a few chances." But
Yeah.
I'm like, you flake on me once or twice, I'm done." Like, I used to be
Yes.
like, "Okay, if I invite you to do something and you can't," like, I get it, shit happens. But,
Yeah.
like, if I invite you more than 2 or 3 times and you're flaking on me, I'm done. Like, you showed me your colors. Like, and I hate it too when people go, "Oh, well, I'm so busy." It's like,
We're all busy.
I've got, what the hell? You're busier than me? Like,
It's so
okay,
funny when
cool.
people say that. It's
I
like,
hate
okay,
that. I'm like, "No, no, no, no." Like,
we're
if
all
I can
busy.
get yeah, everyone's busy. So,
It takes
we
11
make
seconds to
time.
make a call. Hey,
Yeah,
XYZ, I'm getting a little caught up this week. Can we do it takes 11 seconds
yeah,
to touch base with
exactly.
someone. Like literally people can shove it. That is like the
Yeah.
most sorry ass
And
excuse
so for
I ever
you to be able to do what you did, I feel like that is not at all any character defect. That is not at all any sort of, I mean, that is ownership of yourself. And that is you saying, you know what? I have led through all of this with grace. I've given myself time. And now, guess what? I'm going to grow and I'm going to do it without you. And guess what? I'm going to do it on my terms and I'm gonna we're gonna look back and be like, you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
damn, you're a memory and I'm here now. And I think there's a lot of power to that because I don't think a lot of people can say that. I mean, how many people do you know that say, "Oh, I'm gonna break up with them," or and then they end up going back because they can't.
Exactly.
It's weak. It's
Time.
weak.
I'm just not afraid to take a walk through the dark forest
Mhm.
and see what happens on the other side. And I've always been a little bit of a risk taker, not in a bad way, but and now, you know, I guess being a sole provider, it's not scary, it's clarifying. When everything depends on you, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop making procrastinations. I don't wait for things to
You make it
I
happen.
don't
You
I don't
have to. Yeah.
wait for things to work out, I make them. And I think
Yeah.
so pressure introduced me to a version of myself that I truly respect. I think all of this just really molded me, like, even with leaving my ex, that whole situation, like, the girl never like, I never reached out to her on some bitter stuff. I'm like, "Here you go, honey. You got him by default," and I really wished him well. I really did. Like, I closed it
But
out and I
didn't you still wanna come back too? And you were like, "No, bye." Like,
yeah, but
you
he was not being easy about it. It was actually he was creating so much friction for
yeah.
me. And I don't if I got that is a lot to get into and a lot to unpack, but just know, like, me wanting to be alone and be by myself was not being respected, you know? So, that was
Well, how is that affect I mean, like, you're empowered. You've already been a
yeah.
business owner now. Like, you're growing. We're opening up 2 more, and we're gonna go big too. I know this year, by the end of this year,
Oh,
we have trajectories to scale and do much more. But and so we're gonna grow that together, and I'm excited for that. But, like, on the personal aspect of things, like, I have seen you I'm not gonna lie, this past year, I was worried about you, where I even said, "Do you need me to fly in? Like, do I need to go to San Diego? How can I help you?" Like, because, I'm your friend too, and we do work together, but I'm here to support you in any
we're
way I
so
can
sweet.
do.
I think
But
biggest thing
I
is
wanted to make sure your mental space was fine, right? Like, and make sure that we were still gonna, work together and make sure that you were going to be taken care of during the process because it's a lot emotionally to go through. And you do have 3 kids.
people don't
And
prepare you for divorce. There's no words in the world that prepare you for divorce. And to me, I think for everybody, it's different. For me, it wasn't about heartbreak. I was already fully and entirely detached and ready to go. But I was honoring being there for the kids because that's how much he pushed me away. But I was trying to truck through it, when essentially I'm a leaver. Like I will leave if I'm unhappy for an extended
yeah,
period of time, but the marriage kept me locked in a way that had me feeling trapped, and I thought that we were gonna, rekindle and stuff like that. But again, this dude had a full on affair with someone. And at the end of the
you
day,
can't forgive that. You can't forgive that. You
ugh,
just can't. You gotta be true to yourself, and your kids are gonna respect you in the long term when they realize what really happened. Nicole, you're such a good and I know your kids love you so much. I'm sure that they're attached to the general too and whatever, but at the same time, like, do you want your children to be raised around a man that's going to be vindictive and lying and hiding stuff? Because what is that teaching them?
oh
And
yeah.
so as much as they might rebel, I mean, we're all gonna rebel, right? Like, I
Mhm.
feel and I see that too. Like, there's things we're all a product of our environment, right?
An amazing parent is always feeling like you could do better. And I think that that's like the best part is like we are not no part of this is perfect. Nobody is perfect.
Mhm.
And I always love to like own it to my kids no matter what. Like even with everything that went on with me, I told them I said never settle for someone who treats you bad. Never stay somewhere because you feel trapped. Never do this, never do that. And, this is what I could have done differently. Or, hey, sorry, I was hard on you yesterday. Or like it doesn't matter. Like I will own my shit to my kids. I do not sugarcoat anything to them
Well, that's
whatsoever.
good.
Like I tell them
And they
they're
respect,
older
they're gonna
now. Like my kids are older now.
how old are they now?
The twins will be 14 in
Oh,
they're gonna be 14 and my oldest is gonna be 19. She's moving out to back to San Diego in about,
oh, wow.
I think, 6 months, so, like, I really do have
Do they still see the general at all? Do you let him have access to them or no?
it's been a little bit rocky just because the general is now staying with the other person, and I tried to have them go visit. And it was really hard on the kids to see, like, all our old furniture in their house and, like, all the things. It was a little overwhelming for them. So, we're trying to kind of navigate it, but the thing is, like, talking to him, I don't wanna do it. So it makes me feel physically ill because it takes me back to, like, a yuck that I don't wanna deal with,
Mhm.
not even to be civil. Because like, when I don't F with you, I don't F with you at all, like, not in any way, shape, or form, not even civilly, So I'm like, "Just find a way to communicate with me with, like, minimal writing, no novels, please." and just into the point.
This episode is brought to you by Real Reach Digital, where SEO meets AI to grow your business. Thank you so much for listening and spending time with me. As always, keep it real and see you next week.